Welcome back to episode 302 of my Minecraft Xbox Updated Adventures Let's Play. This is a Let's Play where we're playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the console, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I'm actually going to be doing a lot of different things. I'm going to be starting with a couple of things, and then I'm going to be starting a brand new project, because that brand new project I've wanted to do for a while now. I know this is a bit weird, especially with the new update thing, but basically I wanted to work on a river thing, because after the video where I was just kind of like, working on, forming rivers in my own way, I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was so satisfying as a result, and I figured, why not try and do that in survival? That's kind of how Minecraft is, right? Like, there's something really impressive, you don't know if you can do it, let's try and do it in survival anyway, and that's why I wanted to kind of start with today's video, because I want to find a place in the world where it's kind of appropriate to make a river, and then kind of make it, not only just a river, but like a stream from the mountains, maybe. I don't know, I've got an idea like in my head that I'd love to make a river artificially, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do with today's video. So, with that said, let's get straight into what we're going to be doing first, which is, I guess, actually getting rid of all of these birch planks. I've only got 32 now, but I'm slowly filling in this like area of just birch planks. It's not a hard thing to do, but it's just something I've been slowly getting around to. So I figured, why not just do a little bit now? And you've probably seen it in some background gameplay too. I just want to get this like kind of over with, because it'll look better on my map, and then I can look at this and I can work on the future rather than being like, oh, I've got to do some birch stuff. Because sometimes in Minecraft you really want to just do kind of like not meaningless tasks, but like the really easy repetitive tasks. So it's like, okay, run along this, place your planks, and sometimes you want to do the bit more complex stuff, like the second thing I'm doing today, which involves a lot of fireworks actually, because I want to fill in my map. If you don't know, if you look at my map in the bottom left there, is it bottom left? Yeah, if you look at my map, you can see how there's a bunch of like weird patches. This shouldn't be the case. One day my map just glitched and like reformed, and I have to like go re-explore it, and I haven't done that for all of it yet, so I figured, why not go around the edges, making sure that it does get reformed, because we have fireworks now, it's so fast to do this, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to be going around the edges, making sure I have 100% filled map, because I think it'll just look nicer. Now that I'm putting it in my hands this whole time, like, again, maybe I'll take it out one day, but at least for now, my left hand is always going to have a map in it, and why not have at least a filled map? So, yeah, again, at some point in the future, I might fill out 3 maps and get that achievement done finally. But for now, let's just look at this and say, oh yeah, that's kind of nice, isn't it? We got like a filled map there. Because again, personally, there's something just so satisfying about a filled map. This might be because I like, make Seed Sunday videos, but it's still something I quite like there. So then after that, we'll go, place out all our netherrack, and then we'll go work on that stream idea. Or, in fact, wait, while we do all this flying around the map, why don't we find the thing then? Because there's a big corner, there's a big over there somewhere, like on that right side of the map. There's this big corner of the world which is kind of unfinished. Why don't I explore that? Find the best place to start a river there, and then do it afterwards. There we go. Boom. Idea sorted. So while that happens, I wanted to explain my past week. It's been a really, really crazy week, actually, because I went to not only... Again, I went to Germany again, biggest theme park. I mentioned that too many times. I'm not going to mention my whole thing again. But it was just as much fun as I figured. Although even this is something that's like, I guess it's what I expected, but it was a little bit above what I expected in terms of like, what, I really want to go to a theme park and have not no lines, but like the smallest lines possible. But even in this particular case, like where I went on like a Monday of like June, so like everyone should be in German school or whatever. It still wasn't quite there. It was almost like perfect in terms of lines. Like, there were 10 minutes is like a fine amount of time, but for 1 or 2 of them, it was like half an hour each, or like 25 minutes each. I think that's just like a step too far for my liking. So besides that though, like again, lines are just the worst, right? I know I'm British, I'm meant to love lines, but I'll stand in the line and I'll do it, and that's what you should do, but it doesn't mean I'll always like it, and that's kind of my opinion on like theme park lines, because let's be honest, you're there to do one thing, and the lines stop you from doing so. This is actually, so if there's a bunch of gaming conventions around the world, the big ones tend to get terrible. So like, I really used to like EGX, and I really like Gamescom, even though it's the worst for this, but like, you go to an event that's like 12 hours of day, and then it's 2.5 hours to wait in line for a game, so you're like, okay, if I spend my whole day here, I can play 5 games, and that's waiting in lines the whole time too, and like the blistering German heat, or like, for EGX, it's a similar thing, like maybe half as bad, so I think that's like a big problem big events tend to get, like, if you don't, if you just assume that like more and more people can come, then eventually you're just kind of creating longer lines, and maybe people like lines. Maybe everyone else is like really on board with this, but personally, for me, it's just like, this is not correct. But anyway, point being, let's get all this netherrack placed so we can move on to the next step thing. So yeah, this giant netherrack cube is one of the big things people ask questions about, and I want to like get it almost finished, so like it's not in a questionable state. Or maybe I should just get it all the way finished. The only problem is like mining netherrack just makes me feel so like wasteful the whole time, because I have to waste like a pickaxe, which then has to be like repaired and stuff. And maybe I should just which requires diamonds too. And maybe I should just bite the bullet and do it one day, but I haven't gone to that point yet. So in case you're curious as to why that's like that, there's your official reason. It's not an amazing official reason, but it's an official reason nonetheless. So yeah, here's another one of those examples of like, I guess let's call it busy work, where you're just like, oh yeah, you can focus not all in the game, but you can just kind of put like the minimum amount of focus in, and you can focus about other things. And I like doing this a lot, like with every aspect of my life. I think one of my favorite things about like traveling is like, you know, especially on like a train or something, is you just kind of can either turn off your brain and just be like, oh, I don't need any thoughts until I get there, or you can just think about anything you like while the thing happens. I think this is one of the big reasons why, like, even in like my fantasies where I can drive and stuff, I probably wouldn't, because, you know, like, driving is fun, but it's like, it absorbs a lot of you, and like, if you stop thinking, then guess what, you're endangering everyone on the road. But some things are just like this, and I guess that's with Minecraft too. It's like, Minecraft is like driving, boom, on the fly. Little analogy, because if you do it badly, then everyone might die. And you know, in the case of driving, then it's people on the road. In the case of Minecraft, then what about your pet cat, or like, I guess yourself? I'm my own pet cat, aren't I? So yeah, just a little thought right there. But let's go back to explaining theme park theme was fun, and then I went to Scotland. Not Edinburgh, but like near Edinburgh. It's like a tiny village called like East Linton and Dundee. You know, I don't recognise the existence of tiny villages. This is a tiny thing. I'll explain it sometime. Sorry if you live in a tiny village, but statistically you probably don't, so it's fine. But anyway, basically, I went to a tiny village somewhere in Scotland, and I went to Dundee, which is like maybe the 4th biggest city in Scotland. And basically, you know, I went to both these places because 4J invited a lot of YouTubers up for a visit. It was a fun little time. I did a lot of stuff that I hadn't done before, so stuff like, I did wakeboarding for the first time. I don't think you're meant to do wakeboarding. I had to sign a thing saying, like, I could swim, because I can't if you don't know. But yeah, it was great fun regardless. A little bit terrifying, like, you know, not swimming is, like, scary enough when you think about it by itself, but when you don't have access to your feet and they're, like, tied together, it's an extra step scary. But no, I lived, I didn't die. Fun fact, Toy Cat, still alive to this day. I know none of you expected that end to the story. Like, wow, did you really live Toy Cat? But it was actually a lot of fun too. In fact, I think about wakeboarding as one of these really bizarre, I guess, things that exist, because if you really, really think about it, again, maybe I do this too much, but if you really think about like wakeboarding, it's one of these, you know, it's the sort of like sport where like we had to just invent this at some point and say, maybe that's fun. Let's create like all this infrastructure, because it's not like, you know, an amazingly cheap thing to do, and let's do it. And it strikes me like a bit like skiing, where we kind of just came up with it like 100 years ago, because we're like, you know, it'd be really fun if we went really, really fast down things. And I think that's something we'll see like more of in the future, just more crazy, like, I want to call them mini games, but like, you know, sports, I guess, technically, where you're doing something physical, but it involves like crazy, like fast, you know, doing things like on a level that humans shouldn't be able to. Because, you know, I don't think we should be able to go down mountains at like 200 miles an hour, or like, I don't think we should be able to, you know, like be dragged in the water by a magic thing. But that's wakeboarding. It was a lot of fun. I'd recommend it if you've ever been curious. Like, I had someone once tell me wakeboarding was fun, and they just showed me like, oh yeah, you surfboard around a lake, and you're like, you know, I don't, that doesn't sound appealing, but it is. Fun fact. There you go. So Scotland was great. There was a big like opening party for 4J's new office. I mean, it's not like done yet. You know, it's an opening party, but it was really like a warehouse thing. But it was a lot of great fun. Met a lot of fun people there. Had a good time in general. So that was my week. I got back yesterday, and it was just like very, very dead, because I had to wake up like 5 for a flight. I was going to be going to like this big thing in London, but then my brother just forgot. It was a long story, but yeah, this past week been pretty good actually. So besides that though, what have I been thinking about / up to? My elite train needs to be fixed someday. Oh, we've got to fit out the map, right? Okay, so let's go all the way to the top. Gonna require some more fireworks. Again, you might think like, Toy Cat, you're being really wasteful with the fireworks, but given that you only need like paper and gunpowder, and I have all the paper, so you just need gunpowder, and like creepers drop quite a bit of it, I'm not actually so concerned about my my firework usage, so thank you for all the concerns, but it's worth it to have a filled map regardless. And honestly, it might be worth it to get the 3x3 filled map, just so I can get that darn achievement, because, in fact, let me show you. So a lot of people tweet me about this, saying, Toy Cat, when are you going to get this achievement? And I know I should, but like, it's called Map Room 3x3. 0.19% of gamers have it. It's such a... Oh no, I threw a firework away in the river, on the ocean or whatever. It's such a tiny thing, but like, I really should have it, and I just don't. So I want to get that and the Saddling the Horse one. The Saddling the Horse one's just kind of a fun one. Just be ready for the new achievements, because the next update brings new achievements to collect, and yeah, it's going to be fun. I haven't actually seen them yet. I think They'll probably be leaked like sometime tomorrow. I'll probably make a video on them, even if you're not meant to. And yeah, that'll be a fun thing. So yeah, as you can see, filled out my map. I really love that it's a classic map that like expands into ocean because it looks. I like the look of it personally. I think maybe the fence should be thicker so it shows up and there's like a clear border. But you can kind of see it right now, and that's good enough for me. So anyway, let's find a place for my pretend river, I guess, because we're going to be making one from scratch using all this dirt. I should have slept first, by the way, but you know, we're not. Oh, look, this is one of those. I made this bridge for no reason a long time ago, just because I was like, you know what, that could be fun. And then I just did. So it doesn't connect anything to anything, but it just makes this river look a bit more scenic. Like, there's something a bit, okay, there's something nice about rivers going under things, right? I think so, anyway. So, yeah, basically, one of the things I had really deep thoughts about, because, again, I went to Germany. One of the things I buy when I'm in Germany are these, like, if you're German, you probably know it. I had it for the first time in Slovakia, but it's like, it's called, like, Hans Fritz Soda or something. Like, it's got a funny German soda, you know? If you live in Germany, you get it. If you don't live there, you haven't heard of it, because I've only seen it, like, one place outside of there. And I was drinking it, and it's just better than Fanta. Like, I hate to say it, but, oh, wait. So that river right there, this valley right here, I'm thinking at least, is probably the right one, because I don't want to disrupt a main waterway, because this is like the way from one place to another. Oh, wait, no, if you look at that, that waterfall down there, if we just like have the mountains, no, it can't just be mountains flowing down, because that's more of a waterfall. That's a fun idea also, but I want to take a river and then turn it into like a, like kind of, you know, like it goes several layers of stream. So I'm thinking this thing right here, it's not useful for anything because it's a river that goes nowhere. It just ends. So I'm thinking to like raise it up really, really high. And then, so like we're talking like this high. So there's like a big ocean or lake or reservoir over here. And then have it like slowly pour down into the ocean. Yeah, that could be cool, I think. Let's give it a try. Because you know what, this gap here is kind of like counterproductive anyway. So we'll start it either here or maybe a little further to the north, because again, like I said, this is a river that just doesn't really serve a purpose. I mean, you could argue. Oh, actually, wait. Maybe I'll keep the original river intact too, just for fun. But you could argue maybe I could like cut across there and make it a useful river. But right now, it's not one, right? Like it doesn't achieve anything that isn't achieved elsewhere. Yeah, it just cuts across the corner in a way that you wouldn't really need to, because you could go. Yeah, you could go a different way around. So point being, you wouldn't need this. I'm going to turn it into a stream. And just to kind of place the first block, because I don't want to go to, you know, bed before I've done anything. You know, Minecraft bed, that is. I guess we'll just start here and just keep going. That witch has given me a look I do not like. Is the witch actually coming after me? Yeah, it's potioned itself. But yeah, I'm thinking just across here, just so we know, like, where it is, and we might even start to see on the map. And then we're going to cover the river up, and then we're going to cover itself. I don't think I can do all of that today, by the way. But I want to at least get, like, a start on this sort of thing. Because, you know, sometimes you dream of a project and you just dream too hard. And it never happens. This is a really common thing with people. I really used to believe it was just me. Like, and I was just, like, really lazy or something. But, it's a really common... Oh, jeez. Oh, I was going to get hit by a potion. It's a really common thing for, like, people to just be like, you know what? This dream is too big. How about we just don't? And, you know, like, because... Oh. You know, when you first have an idea of something, it seems so easy, because it's something you can do, and then you build it up to, like, how could this be the best thing ever? See? Paper. Gunpowder. Really easy to get. And then, like, you know, it kind of goes up and up like that, and it's not a good thing. So if that ever happens to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I never do anything, doing bad things is better than doing no things. Or, I mean, in terms of, like, work. I mean, not in terms of, like, the world. Like, don't kill people just because you're not doing anything. Like, that's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying, how did that spider hurt me? Like, I hurt myself on the spider. Anyway, let's go back to our mountain home. Not home, bridge place. You know, place where we're building a river. Let's start working on this, and let's eat, because that's kind of desperate. And let's talk, yeah, no, like I was saying. So, I was drinking my weird German Fanta, basically. I guess Fanta is already German, and it just tasted so much better, and I was wondering to myself, like, why has nobody done this one? And it kind of just struck me that, like, the reason, you know, that there probably isn't a reason besides, like, cost or something. But then I was like, but is it that much more expensive to just make it actually taste like oranges? Because, again, it was like an orange soda thing that actually tasted like orange. And it's like, probably not. So maybe what it is the only reason this exists like this. I was just thinking, like, maybe it's an inevitability that there'll always be, like, a popular... Like, let's say Fanta did taste good and it actually tastes like orange. Because it almost tastes like orange, right? Like, a good Fanta does taste a little bit like oranges. But if it did, then another product could come along and taste more like oranges. And you'd be like, wow, why don't they just do that? And it made me realize that, you know, maybe maybe just maybe, or maybe, I could be wrong on this, but like, this is just my theory. I was thinking like really deeply while drinking a soda, so you know, don't take this too literally. But I was like, you know, what if like regardless of how good, you know, like the main brand makes something, that it's always going to be worse than something else. Someone can always do better, and that better thing's always going to seem like the logical choice to people like me that like orange. And I thought, you know, does that make it all futile? I don't know, but it was like an existential thing at the time. But the point being is, sometimes you got to think to yourself, if in case you've ever thought to yourself, like, what if there should be like a Sprite that tastes more like limes instead of lemons? Then if it doesn't exist, don't just think that someone should be doing it. Think that you should do it yourself. Although actually, I really like the logic of, or I really like the easy like tool, because it helps out a lot for like when people say something like, oh yeah, here's what the world needs to do. Like this is the solution to make the world a better place. Like, oh yeah, we just need to do this thing. And they'll always say something that seems, you know, it's just like everyone can agree on it, right? Like, oh yeah, I think that we should stop seals dying from hunger, because right now that's what's happening. And it's like, yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Or like, you know, right now we've got a big factory that, you know, churns seals into buttons. Let's close that factory. It doesn't actually save any money, so let's just do it. You know, if you say something like that, it's like, yeah, of course you want to do that. But there's usually like more complexities behind it than that. And this is a valuable thing to realize in life. Like, oh yeah, there aren't really many easy solutions in the world. Most easy solutions, you know, are taken up really easily. Because people love easy solutions. You know, I love easy solutions. You know how great it would be if, like, you know, you could wake up in the morning and there was just, like, a button you could hit. And that button would be like, oh, yeah, it will make the videos for you. You'd be like, yeah, I'll hit the button. But it's not about that. It's like, you gotta decide what you're gonna do in the morning. You gotta decide between, like, oh, yeah, should I get this done? Should I get that done? You know, like, there's a trade-off. You have so much time, so much money, energy, all the resources that you believe you have. You only have so much of them, and how am I even going to do this? I guess I have to just block off the mountain here. Yeah, I guess that's what I'll have to do. I'll just have to, because otherwise there'll be a clear hole. Maybe that's fine, actually. No, I think that's fine. It's going to look really, really weird, but I think it's fine just to have a hole in the mountain, and I'll just leave it that way then. So I guess I have to like have some of these blocks to kind of prevent it going across. But as long as it's like barely noticeable, I think that's fine. So we'll have a few more of these going across, just so I can like make the barrier behind it a little more vibrant or something. Again, this is going to look good from one angle and really big on the other. That's my kind of goal here. So anyway, yeah, one of the things I spend a lot of time thinking about, is like, you know, if it's an easy solution, someone's probably done it. And just in case it isn't, think about it. Is it an easy solution or is it not? And you know, if it's not an easy solution, then think about it a bit more. Because I guess that comes back into the early thing of like, you know, rather than just being like, oh yeah, this has to be the perfect thing, just make it a better thing than that already exists in the world. And I think actually that's a lot of like, I've seen a lot of like YouTubers give a similar piece of advice of just like, you know, just make a good thing. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be the perfect thing, as long as it's a good thing. And that's like, you know, how they start their YouTube or whatever. And I guess, you know, it really does stand quite true in my opinion. So yeah, we're just gonna have this like go along there for a bit, and then like bring it in a bit after that towards this. Actually, this is terrible. I don't know what I'm doing here. But just like that should be fine. Yeah, and then we'll fill this with water going that way. So we'll also have to like cut across. Yeah, I thought about this. Okay, no, we'll just keep going. It'll be really, really widely shaped. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so we'll make this go all the way up to there. Again, just kind of follow and trust it. Follow and trust. We're shaping like how this river thing's gonna go. It might go horribly wrong because we're missing the shape of the mountain, but in theory, the game itself should just about cover us. Like, you know, as long as we're like vaguely doing it, then everything else should just kind of follow. That's the big theory here. I'm not too sure. So in case you get lost as to what I'm doing, you're like, Toy Cat, I know I agree with your thoughts on Fanta. I really like that you had a fun time in Scotland this week. But what are you doing right here? This is going to be like the first like reservoir lake, like the top of a mountain thing. It's going to be filled with water, and then it's going to slowly like pour down across this river. So it's going to go from here, then down a bit to like, let's call it maybe like here. Yeah, like let's call it like here. So like we'll go across here now, let's say. and then after this we'll go across, and then it'll be way less than this, and we'll just have like several streams down, so it makes this like really fun, like rapid going down. I just want to see if I can make it. Again, in survival, it's a fun idea. Even if it's bad, I love having like, you know, failed designs. You might think of them and say, oh, this is the worst thing. You might want to destroy them and rebuild them, but I think it's always good to have them there, so you can be like, oh yeah, that was funny, that was some time I spent, and it's like a reminder. A lot of people forget that, oh yeah, things in the world do in fact, you know, like you need to make mistakes to improve. Like you know, the very best people who are doing some of the very best things actually hate a lot of what, you know, they hate what they did to get there, and or like, you know, what they, a lot of people, like, you know, whoever painted the Mona Lisa might think it's really ugly, for instance. It's, you know, there's a life lesson or something. So, yeah, basically, while we do this across, again, it's gonna like slowly phase down. I think 4 stages is probably enough. So like that, and then maybe halfway down. Yeah, we'll go down to like here, let's call it, for this next one. We'll make it like properly phase across too. But yeah, so anyway, the final thing I've been thinking about a lot this week is how I've been recording myself at all times. So I have a camera in my kitchen, right? Like a security camera. I have a security camera elsewhere in my house, and it's always recording, and it means that if it spots anything, it notifies me. Most of the things it spots are just me, because for some reason I haven't like either there isn't an option or I haven't set it on where I can just like enable it to only give alerts for myself. That would be good if that was the case, but that's not actually the case. So, you know, it just tells me every time I go on there. But it's just like a handy security feature. That's why it's there. I just figured I should mention that because I'm recording myself at all times now. Like I'll walk into the kitchen like half naked and be like, ah, there's a camera on me, and it's really, really weird actually, right? That like you'd be fine. I feel like whenever there's like, you know, like technology involved, things become permanent, right? Like if you tell me a joke in person, then, you know, that's a funny joke. If it's not funny, then ooh, there's no record besides your memory. But which you can just make up anyway if you want to. But like when you see a video of something, it becomes like super real, right? And I was thinking about that as like, isn't it interesting that like we're scared of so many things becoming permanent? Like in theory, someone could remember what you do forever. Like you could remember me saying this sentence forever. Actually, this is a video, bad example. But you wouldn't have to remember me saying this forever because it's gonna be on video for as long as YouTube exists anyway. Or theoretically, you could download it and that video would last forever. But so it's really like interesting that like that's scary to a lot of people. The idea of like, oh, it never goes away. You record something and it's there forever. Because for me, it actually is the same. Like, you know, I know a lot of people are like this too, where like you'll cover your laptop webcam with tape or whatever. I haven't done this, even though I don't use that laptop webcam. And I think to myself, like, maybe I should. I know you look like a crazy paranoid when you do it though, and it raises the question of like, you know, it's a really weird world we're living in, where like there's a lot of stuff going on like that. And because one of the fears is about AI, right? I watched a video on AI and how like, oh yeah, it's one of these big problems we still haven't solved, and that's probably just gonna come and bite us. You know, it's gonna come back and bite us because, like, oh yeah, at some point someone's gonna make a intelligence so smart that it can improve itself, right? And then once it starts improving itself, it can write the programs to improve itself. It goes exponentially, and then you got the smartest thing in the world, and it's a computer program. And then you might think, oh yeah, so what happens when that computer program tries to kill us? And that's one of the questions we just don't really have the answer to right now. Besides, like, let's hope it doesn't. that really does seem to be the strategy on this one. I just realized, because I'm making these out of dirt, I don't know how much of this to get rid of when I'm, like, digging it away. Okay, pro tip, if you're going to do this, make it out of Nevrac or something. Yeah, that's probably why I gathered that Nevrac. Again, it's been a week since I played this, so just realized what I'd done this episode was wrong. But yeah, no, saying my point, at some point there's going to be an intelligence that can improve itself and then improve itself and so on and so forth, and then it can get out there and it can hack into the world, and because it's small enough to be the smartest thing, it can hack any, you know, security measure a human puts on it, and then, you know, the thing has control of everything. It has control of like all the world's nuclear missiles, it has control of like your information, my information. And that's scary. It's scary to think about, and that's like one of the ways humanity could end or whatever, right? And it's a really scary problem that like there's no correct solution to. But it's interesting that like even though we know this is a thing, like everyone, even Stephen Hawking, super scared of it. Like Stephen Hawking's, I believe like maybe like, you know, he's a smart guy, right? I think we could all say. But yeah, like you know, even he's just like, yeah, the big threat we're gonna face is we're probably gonna invent something like that, and that thing's gonna kill us. So that's a pretty fair and reasonable you know, thing to expect, right? Like, oh yeah, that could probably happen, and I guess it would be bad. And it's just one of these things where I realize, like, even though we all know as a society, like, oh yeah, when this happens, bad things probably, but it's still going to happen anyway because you just can't, there's no way to just stop someone else from making it. And that's what kind of, I guess, almost scares me about the whole idea. But then I think, like, you know what, this is such a hard thing to do. Maybe the person, to invent, this very smart breakthrough, you have to be smart enough to maybe know how to contain it. That's my theory. Or, if you don't know how to contain it, maybe they're just an evil genius that, like, wants there to be a super intelligent AI or something. And, at least someone will get what they want. Oh, jeez. Okay, my elite didn't activate from this whole thing. And that might have sounded like it made no sense. And, honestly, I'm a cat on the internet. I don't make sense sometimes. I'll admit that. But just in case it didn't, I'll say, well, Scotland was fun. Germany was fun. And I'm going to spend a week on the title update 54 videos now. So I hope you I look forward to making them. I hope you're going to enjoy watching them. On this world, I'm not going to be doing too much TU54 stuff. Like, I don't think there really is anything in that update for me in survival. I'm probably missing something, like colored bits will be great. But no, I think the update is mostly about video stuff, so you'll be seeing a lot of that in this next week. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's probably the last one before the update comes out. And I'll see you in TU54 tomorrow with so many streams. It's going to be the busiest week, but I love these, and hopefully all of you do too. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!